Hello, this is Dr. Zeg. A lot of people leave it too late to start planning for their retirement, and that is a terrible idea. I'm going to give you a checklist comprising of 10 items that you need to start planning now for your retirement. Don't leave it too late. You should start planning for retirement as soon as yesterday. Of course, better late than never. You have to play your part to prepare for your own retirement. It is your responsibility. First item on the checklist, you should plan to have a retirement home. This is the place where you live when you finally retire. You shouldn't leave it to the last minute to establish that home. That homestead should ensure the facilities of self-sufficiency at least. Remember, when you retire, your income sources will dwindle a lot. For most people, you won't have that privilege to have a lavish lifestyle unless you plan for it in advance. Have a solar backup, water reserves, you have a small orchard, you have your garden, you have everything that ensures you are self-sufficient. You are going to need that on retirement. It doesn't necessarily have to be an expensive homestead. You can do accordingly to your earnings. Number 2, start some form of investment now, right now. Besides your earnings from your workplace, have some extra income earnings. At least have 3 income streams. The ideal number is 5, but it could be a bit of a challenge for everyone to have 5 different income streams. But at least you have 3 income streams that are passive. This income that comes when you don't have to actively work for it. For example, have a rental property, have a business that runs itself, you will need that. Your pension scheme could be part of it, of the income streams. Superannuation is some money that you will continuously draw when you don't have to necessarily go to work for it. That will look after you when you are in your retirement. One income stream usually is not sufficient. The third item on the checklist is an emergency fund. Start saving and put aside an emergency fund. What would that do? Regardless of your fixed assets, when you are in an emergency, your fixed assets won't help you. Emergency is an emergency. Fixed assets are not very easy to sell, and they don't sell quickly. But in emergency, you need the money right there. So you need some things that can easily become liquid, hard cash, or some assets like cars that can easily be sold. Have that set aside so that when you need to sell things quickly and raise quick cash in emergency, you have something in place. A person who is well prepared is not vulnerable to shocks, economic shocks. Number 4, have a smaller car. I always talk of downsizing cars, especially when you retire. The importance of a smaller car is it can save you a lot in terms of fuel, but also it's very convenient for parking. You know, when you are retiring, when you are becoming older, you are no longer as focused and as sharp as you are right now, because obviously age takes a toll. So parking a big car is like a huge mammoth task. It's not easy. You can have your big cars now if you can afford, but as a checklist for retirement, make sure you put aside small cars. You need that in your retirement. There will come a time also when you can't even use that small car as well, and then you downsize again to a scooter. Number 5 on the checklist, you should have a succession plan. If you're running a business, have some system in place that ensure that you don't have to be actively on the ground to run it. You can train your children. You can train people you prefer to run the business, or you can make it a private limited that you don't have to be on the ground to be running. When you get old, you don't want to be stressing on how day-to-day things of business are running. Business life is very stressful. Hustling is very stressful. But the truth is, you don't need all those stressful moments when you are in retirement. Retirement should be time for you to take it easy and enjoy your life. Enjoy the sweetness of the sweat that you have been working all these years. So when you are retiring, it's not the time to be running around chasing after people who are refusing to pay. It's the time to relax. You have to prepare it now so that you will retire gracefully. Number 6 item, have some tools that you can use at home. It can be related to your career, what you do now, or just ordinary tools that you need at home. As simple as ladders. Every homestead should have a ladder. Shovels, hammers, welding machine, grinders, all those small tools that you think you require at home. You might not necessarily need to use them yourself, but even the people that will be coming to help you, it will be convenient for them, convenient for you, cheaper for you as well. If you've got your own tools, you just hire some people to use those tools to repair your roof, to do some small jobs. Number 7, health insurance. When you get older, you become more and more vulnerable to some ailments associated with old age. We all get there. The cost of visiting GPs, hospitals, becomes higher because of the frequency that you need to use those services. So a medical aid will certainly help. You have to do more regular checks. You recommended that you visit your GP, even if you're not sick, twice a year. It becomes more important when you grow old. Some chronic ailments can be quickly healed easier when they are picked up earlier, and that can only be done through visiting a doctor for regular checks. Man, I know we don't like seeking medical help, especially when you're feeling fit. It's very difficult to convince men to go to a GP for regular checks. Number 8, you should start to develop your social network. You realize that you need that even more when you retire. Because when you retire, you've got all the time to yourself. Now that is when you realize that you need some friends. So develop those social networks. Now, have some people that you interact with, that you trust, that you share with problems, some celebrations. Don't leave it too late to start looking for people. Because when you start looking for people, when you need them, people will realize that you're now looking for them because you need them. It won't be forthcoming. Number 9, if you're privileged to have some children, invest in them. Look after them well. If you look after a kid well, there is a high chance that they also look after you well in your retirement. They'll give you surprises. Dad, mom, here's $100 to add to your fuel. Here's a present for this and that. This is social dynamics. You don't have to rely on them 100%, but children can be a good backup, especially in emergencies when you're desperate. They won't let their parents down. Give them good education. Give them skills. Give them values, proper values, so that they have their only functional lives. If they're not organized enough to look after themselves, obviously they can look after you too. Number 10, invest in your spiritual growth. You need to do that right now. It is something that is ongoing. Pray. Have that good relationship with God, the Almighty, because He will always look after you. If you trust God, all will be fine in your active life and also in your old age. So this is my advice. Keep praying, keep worshiping, keep doing the good things. A bonus point is invest in your community. I always talk about community development, doing some things that give good impact to your community, because that community will look after you, particularly in your old age. If you do something now when you're still active, you've done something that is tangible to the community. People recognize your efforts. They'll always remember that and give you back. I hope you've learned something from this. I hope you start preparing for retirement now and not leave it too late. Please subscribe to the channel. This is Dr. Zek signing out.